Cool. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this month's wellness workshop. I'm so excited for this month's topic and what we're going to be doing this evening. If you're listening to the recording, thanks so much for tuning in. This is going to be epic. So, I'm going to hand it off to Juliette Lee. She's going to take us through the Passion Roadmap, which is inspired by the Passion Planner. And yeah, Juliette, let's hand it off to you. So I'll go to the next slide for you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Kels. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. If you're listening in on the recording, thanks a bunch. I know it's a busy time. So today, we are going to go through this little agenda. So I'll tell you a little bit about me, and then we will talk about what it is to really dream big and to tap into your passion, and what that looks like, and then really break down what a passion roadmap is, and use that roadmap to drive goals. So, the first thing that we're going to do right now is if you do not have a pen or paper and markers, the more colorful, the better. Go get them. We will take 1 minute to go get them. I see Amanda's jumping on. Hi, Amanda. So it's really important that you have a piece of paper because this is all about visualizing. Kelsey's got all her beautiful, colorful pens. So if you need an extra minute to go grab your pen and paper, write it in the chat. But otherwise, Kelsey, you can go to the next slide. So a little bit about me. So I feel like often in our world, when somebody says like tell me about yourself, people immediately jump to their job. And I think that's so interesting, is like that is the one thing that we use to define us. It's like all through high school and college, it was like, well, I'm a swimmer because I was on the college swim team. But like now, what am I? I'm like a program analyst at the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. And it's like, really? Is that all I am? No, we are multi-passionate people. There's so many different things that are going on in our lives. So like, what do I do? Well, I'm a daughter. My mom is literally on, that's Sophie right there. But also sister, partner, friend. And I am a colleague, and I'm proud of that. And we're going to get more into what it is that got me there. But I'm also a body wellness community member, and that's what is bringing all of us here together today. And I think that is a part of my identity, and I think that being multi-passionate is so important. So for me, my family is something I'm really passionate about, and my friends. My career is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I've pursued a journey of that hasn't been linear in any way, but it's taken me from studying marine biology in the Bahamas to teaching marine science out in California, to working on Capitol Hill here in Washington, D.C., to work on marine policy issues to protect our ocean. And now I'm working in international affairs in the ocean energy nexus. So I get to travel all around and meet with different governments, like where Kelsey just was in Australia. I was there in September, and going to Jamaica in March to join a UN meeting. So big things can happen, and can happen rapidly if you really tap into your passions. So what do I want to do? Well, so much. There's simply not enough time in the world. But what's really cool is what we're going to do today is break down what we want to do and come up with realistic goals of how we get there. So for me, it's explore the world, impact ocean conservation, live a long, happy, healthy. Healthy is a really important aspect. Life for me, I recently got diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. And so this is a huge thing that's really important to me. And then, of course, spend quality time with loved ones. So that is me. What I would all love you to do right now in the chat is drop 5 of what do I do? What that question. I don't want to just hear about your career. What do you do? Drop it in the chat. 5 things that you do. And like, it could be, I'm a knitter. I don't care. Just write it in the chat. And Tristan, I see you're like cooking and cleaning. So if you need to take care of that, no worries. But I appreciate your contributions as much as you can.
So hold on, do we write it down on our piece of paper or do we write it in the chat?
You can write it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, Elena, she's a hiker. She's an amateur comedian. She's a sister. She's a partner. She's a friend. I love it. Thank you. Let's see who can be as speedy. Kelsey, she's an adventurer, a wellness mentor, interior design community leader. She's a sister and a daughter. I love it.
Five things.
Yeah, 5 things. Mom, Sophie Lee, she's a yoga teacher. She's a hiker, a mother, a sister, and an interior designer. I don't know if Amanda and Haley can add things into the chat, but we're going to keep moving. If you are typing up, Tristan's got mama, hiker, dog lover, do it yourselfer. I love it. Motivator. Amanda, she loves to crochet, to paint, photography, hike. She's a wholesome friend. Oh, that will have a deep conversation with you, but the next convo might end up in us peeing our pants. That is awesome. I love the honesty. All right, now, time to dream big. Now, this is a simple set of steps. So this is really just a slide that was meant to give us some space, but you can go on to the next one, Kels. So the passion roadmap. So really what it is it's a 1-pager overview of your short-term and long-term goals. So a big part of that, and Haley just dropped in her chat, adventurer, traveler, creative, hype woman, and family gal. And you do not need to narrow it down, Haley. That's the beauty of this. So this passion roadmap is all about breaking down your goals into time-sensitive areas. So essentially, it's a wish list. It's everything that you want to do. So on your piece of paper, I want you to draw exactly what is on the right side of your screen. It might be flipped left side, I can't tell, but the lifetime wish list. So you're going to have in the middle the wish list, and then you have 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, and lifetime. And this is how we're going to break down this passion roadmap. So we are going to take a little time so that you can all write that down and then go from there. So use colorful pens. It'll make it more fun, and just go for it. Mom, can you mute yourself, please?
Okay, so we're splitting our paper into 4: lifetime, 3 years, 1 year, 3 months.
Yeah, however organized you want to make it. This is going to be where you are going to let yourself dream big. So you don't have to start thinking about what you're going to put in these categories just yet, but we need it all broken down. Once you do that, you are going under wish list, you're going to write today's date. It is January 30th, 2024, in case you did not know. I had a doctor's appointment this morning and I wrote down that a million times, so I really do know what date it is. January 30th, 2024, I will write it in the chat. If you're watching this on a different day, that's not the date, so check what the date is. It's important because under 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, you are going to write what that math is. If we need help, I can help. In 3 months, that's April 30th, 2024. 1 year, that's January 30th, 2025. And 3 years is January 30th, 2027, which sounds weird to say aloud, but that will be a year in 3 years. Now, when you're all done, I want you to write wish list in all bold caps in the chat so that I know you're done. And then we'll move on to the next slide. Also, hi, Brittany. See you jumped on. Thanks for joining us. If you don't have a piece of paper, go grab one. Okay, we're gonna give 30 more seconds to draw that down. Beautiful. Okay, so this is what it's all about. If you could be anything, do anything, or have anything, the question is, what would it be? So we're going to take 5 minutes. I will set a timer, and you are going to imagine that you can write on this piece of paper, or rather this, imagine that what you write on this piece of paper will come true in the designated time frame. So for example, if you write go skydiving, and that's in your 3-month goal, by April 30th, 2024, that's when you imagine you're gonna go skydiving in that time frame. It's essentially, don't start yet. I know you want to, but don't start yet. Think of this wish list as describing your ideal life. And you're gonna write down anything that comes to your mind. You don't need to be realistic here. You just need to be specific. Like, nothing on here needs to be justified. You just need to write down your dreams and just write. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And for those 5 minutes, which are going to go by surprisingly quickly, you are going to write down, if I could be anything, do anything, or have anything, what would it be? You're going to write down those goals in the designated areas. Again, it does not need to be realistic. You do not need to justify these dreams. Just write down what you want. Ready? Go. 30 seconds. Finish up whatever you're writing. Alrighty, team. Not to sound like a 5th grade teacher, but put your pens down. Okay. How'd that feel? And like, I'm very comfortable with everyone turning off their mute and talking. So if you would like to share how that went for you, and would like to share something that you added to your wish list, you can either add it to the chat or speak up.
I felt like this little exercise helped me section off just really where I wanted to be. Like, I'm such a visual person that this really helped me kind of just narrow down my thoughts and what I wanted. But what was really interesting was figuring out what I wanted versus what I wanted for my daughter, and like whose wish list was that really, you know? So that was kind of just a fun exercise in my opinion, just to get my thoughts out on paper.
Awesome. I love
Thank
it.
you. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Kelsey said, helpful to bucket it and not get too overwhelmed. Elena, is it Elena or Alana? I keep saying it and I want to say it correctly.
It's Alana.
Alana. Okay, thank you. So Alana said, this was surprisingly hard at first because I was thinking of what was acceptable in society or what others would want me to. That is a very common thing to feel. And I think that it's so valid. There's so much pressure from whether it's our families or society or the way your community is set up, that it's difficult to not just focus on being realistic in these situations, but really let yourself dream. So I'm proud of you for going through that, even though it was challenging. And it seems like others are feeling very similarly. So thank you for being so honest about how that went for you. Okay. Kels, would you please go to the next slide? So this next part is going to be about going back into your 4 sections and circling one goal that would have the most positive impact on your life. Now, I'm not going to give you more information than the most positive impact on your life. You can decide what that really looks like, but the most positive impact. Keyword here is positive. Well, actually, most is bold, but positive is what I think. So I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. Again, this is going to happen quickly. Go.
Is it just overall, or is it one for the 3 months, one for 1 year?
1 for each of the sections.
Each section. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Now I see.
All right, team, wrap it up. That minute is over. Kelsey, I see you with your pen down, you know, this is tricky. Okay, so these are the 4 goals that you are going to prioritize. That is not as straightforward as it seems, right? Because there's a lot of things on here that you're like, no, but like, I want to run a half marathon, but I also want to prioritize my business or whatever you may be working on, right? So maybe your priority is spending quality time with your children or doing something else. Sometimes these goals contradict, so how do you pick, right? Well, the good thing is that this can be done again and again and again, and you don't actually have to pick. But the beauty of prioritizing something is it simplifies the aspects and it allows you to break down one goal at a time. Otherwise, it feels terribly overwhelming, and nobody needs anything more overwhelming in this world. So these 4 goals are what you are going to prioritize. We are going to create a passion plan now to map out how to get there. So what I would really love is if you all were willing to share. Depending on if you're comfortable sharing in the chat or speaking up, I would love to hear about what 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of these goals are that you circled. What are the ones that you really spoke to you and made you think this is what will have the most positive impact on my life?
I can share.
Thanks.
For the first 3 months, I said like more of a brand presence and adding value on Instagram and like starting to kind of build that for me. And then the 1 year and 3 year kind of connected, but almost like steps, like building within more of a side hustle business for my 1 year, and then 3 years having it be like a full time. What do you do when does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's great that they're connected. And yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And then for my lifetime, I really only wrote 2 because I ran out of time. So I said see every continent, but I feel like that kind of wraps into my brand.
I have that on mine as well. See every continent.
Love it.
Really cool. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's great that they're connected. Anyone else?
I can share.
Thanks, Tristan.
So for my lifetime goal, I put make lasting friendships because I feel like honestly for the past 10 years that has been a real struggle. And I think that has a lot to do with just my own personal growth, and just life events. And then being a mom, you know what I mean? So it's just finding those friendships that matter. For my 3 year, and I feel like I could have accomplished this in 1 year, but I put 3 year to make me feel better. But I put love my job. I want to wake up every day and just love what I do. And retail is not that. I'm trying to like keep my head up. Because I do like the marketing manager part of my job, but retail is just not that. 1 year, I want more time with Ruby. That's my daughter. And I don't know. I mean, we kind of do a lot, but I just feel like she's always at school. And then we have just like the alternating parent schedules. So I want to try and like make the most of my time with my daughter. And then for my 3 month, it's go to sleep earlier because I really will stay up until like midnight and then I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and that's just so fucking unhealthy. So I'm trying to like fix that. But like that's my quiet time at night. Like it's like the quietest time for those couple hours and I really enjoy that. So just one day I will go to sleep earlier naturally.
I love
But
that.
yeah.
I love that. I think that should also be on mine to go to sleep earlier and prioritize sleep. That's a big one. It sounds easier than it is. But these are great goals. Thank you, Tristan, for sharing. If anyone else wants to share, you're welcome to, or you can add in the chat. Also, Amanda, love seeing your face. Thank you for turning on your camera. Cool. Okay. Now to go from there. This is where the fun begins. we are going to create a passion plan to map out how you get to these priority goals. Now, what is a passion plan, you may be asking? It is a mind map that visually breaks down your goals into steps that are specific, actionable, measurable, and time sensitive. Now, these 4 words are what really makes a passion plan valuable. Otherwise, it's just a dream. You are creating a plan here of how you achieve that dream. So, specific, actionable, measurable, and time sensitive. So, with this, we are going to create a game changer. Now, I want you to pick one of the 4 that you circled. And that could be any of them. I probably wouldn't pick the lifetime one just because time sensitive is a key word here with your game changer. And while the lifetime one is great and important and you need to value it, the game changer is time sensitive. And so we want to start with hitting the ground running. So pick something. It doesn't need to be necessarily the 3-month one, but something that you think is specific, actionable, measurable, time sensitive. Kels, will you go to the next slide, please? So what you are going to do is you're going to draw a nice circle in the middle of a piece of paper. It could be a different piece of paper. It could be the same piece of paper, but enough room that you're going to create an entire spider web around it. And in that middle circle, like this bigger circle that you're seeing on the screen, you're going to put my game changer. So with the item that you picked, so for me, one of the items that I circled was the 3-month goal of running a half marathon. So I am putting run half marathon under my game changer, and I am putting the date in which I'm going to complete that. So I have April 30th, 2024, which is in 3 months. Now, what you're going to do is, of these items, you are going to write down all the necessary steps needed to achieve that goal. The more detailed, the better. So if we go back to my half marathon example, perhaps one of the goals is buy a new pair of sneakers. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice I just bought myself a new pair of sneakers and I'm pumped about them and they're really cute. But that was on my game changer because I needed new sneakers because my knees and my hips were a little unhappy with me. Another one of those goals is come up with a running schedule. And so I have that on there. Another one was find a running buddy because I needed accountability. Are there some others that you can think of with my running example that may or may not be important? Feel free to drop them in the chat. Get good sleep. Yep, that's really important when you're working out a lot. Make a calendar and put it where you can see it. That's huge. I think visual cues are so important. And it goes back to that actionable, specific, measurable. If you can see a calendar, you're like, that is very actionable. That is going to drive me forward, right? Okay, so once you do that, Amanda, maybe like a reward after the run. My sister runs to her local coffee shop and walks the pedestrian bridge on the way home with her coffee. I love that. Give yourself a little treat. So with this, there might be certain ones that have multiple steps. And so there's no harm in if, say, the goal is to create a calendar to put it up where you can see it. If part of that is like find a calendar you like, that's one step. Pin it up to the wall is the next step. Remember, specific, specific, specific. So again, it is specific, actionable, measurable, and time sensitive. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to create this web of different goals that are specific, actionable, measurable, and time sensitive. All right, ready, steady, go. 30 seconds. Okay, team, we're gonna wrap it up. Kels, when you're ready, feel free to go to the next slide. Okay, so what you may or may not have on your piece of paper is a bunch of items that hopefully are more specific and more measurable than your original game changer goal. Things that are actionable that you can actually achieve, things that are time sensitive, that you can look at this coming week and think, I could actually do that. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to add specifics. So, for each of the items that you have in front of you, you are going to assign due dates for each of these tasks. That's hard. I can tell by Kelsey's face. That seems intimidating. But if you put a due date on it and you commit to that due date and you be specific and sure to include how much or how many or by when, depending on what the goal is, it will give you the motivation to actually accomplish it. This is where the realism comes in. After that, you are going to create a timeline. So with those due dates, hopefully they have some sort of chronology to them. You are going to number them in order of what you are going to start with. And there better be a number one that you can look at and be like, I'm doing that first. So then maybe you have a planner. Maybe you're not a planner girl. I don't know, but I'm a planner girl. And so what I do is I am going to take these tasks and I'm going to write them down in corresponding due date order into my weekly planner. And so that throughout the year, I have these checkpoints to stay on track. And if you miss your due date, don't be like, oh, I'm done. I'm never going to achieve that goal. Set yourself a new due date. Maybe find an accountability buddy who's going to tell you to stay on track. Like Haley with her vision board. She told all of us to let her know if she didn't do it, to give her a nice reminder, a nice kick in the butt. So that's important. and we did. And guess what? She completed her vision board. She got it done. So that's huge. Now, I think a good example is planning a trip. So as you can see here, this is a vision of me getting to Hawaii one day. So the specifics, it's like purchase the flights. You need the money to be able to pay for it, right? You need to pick which airline you're going to fly on. Then create a timeline. When am I actually going to go? When do I need to purchase the hotels and the flights by so that I can actually get on the plane and get there? And then make that date. So that is what you're going to do for right now, 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. Go ahead. And thanks, Kels. An example game changer, as you can see here, is this example was ski in the Pacific Northwest. So how do you actually get there? And this is just an example of one that you can use. So if you were stumbling along, it's good visual. But the timer is being started right now. So take those 5 minutes, be specific, create a timeline, and really get after it. 30 seconds. All right, team. Let's share. What is an example of a goal that is part of your game changer? So tell us when you're ready, if you could go to the next slide. So for example, my game changer is ski in the Pacific Northwest. Number one on that would be pick dates. So that's in the top left. So if you'd like to share one or two or three of what you've added, that would be great. Feel free to add it in the chat or speak up. So for me here, you'll see for this trip, I would pick dates, coordinate with family and friends who live there, coordinate days off with work, purchase flights, develop a packing list, coordinate travel logistics, including airport pickups, set an itinerary, sharpen my skis and check my equipment, and pack for the trip. Probably the last thing on there would be board the plane. Anyone else want to share? Okay, game changer. Become the healthiest and fittest version of myself. Heck yes, just that. Woo! Number one, remember who the F you are. In a world of social media, it can be incredibly hard to not compare ourselves and progress to other people. Remember who I am, and my value is fundamental in becoming my best self. Okay, absolutely adore that. That is incredible and so moving. Yes, queen. You go, girl. So my question is that your goal? Is that the game changer itself? Is this whole paragraph, or is that one of the goals to get there?
The game changer is to become healthy, and then the number one for me would to be just remember who I am. Because if I get caught up in comparing myself to other people, I start to self-sabotage myself. It's very interesting. So
Very real. That's very real. I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Great goal.
thanks.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share? Okay, Tristan wrote in the chat, I felt like my game changers were too difficult to accomplish tonight. Very fair. This is something we will have to keep working on. Go to Havasu. I probably mispronounced that. Falls in the spring. Number one, invite someone. Number two, book the permit. Number three, request days off. Number four, make a gear list. Number five, buy what's necessary. 6, make sure my fish and plants are okay. I love that. 7, gas up. 8, go. Yes, I love that. Very, very time sensitive. Amanda, game changer would be to start a new job in the creative space that doesn't make me feel dead inside. Yes, Amanda, we don't want you feeling dead inside. That is very real. And first item of business would be job searching on all the platforms. Absolutely. Get yourself on LinkedIn, get yourself on all those job boards. That is awesome. I love it. Great job. Tell us, game changer, build my brand. Number 1, outline niche. Number 2, make look and feel. Number 3, brainstorm content ideas. Number 4, gather photos and vids. Number 7, update bio and links. 8, batch 30 days of content. That's a lot of work, but I love it that you've written that down. Now you're going to do it, Kels. Number 9, post consistent. Number 10, engage. Yes. Amazing. Okay, these are all awesome, very time sensitive, real, actionable and heartfelt. So thank you all for sharing. That is so great. We're gonna move on to the next slide. So I think the biggest part of this is you have to work at it. This isn't gonna happen because it's written on a piece of paper. So for this goal, strive to do at least one productive thing for that goal at the beginning of your day to get you closer to that goal. What I think is great is taking the goals apart. So for example, if I'm just to like pick on Kels, that number one is outline niche. That's going to take some time. So every day she can work a little bit on it. It doesn't need to be accomplished in one day, but she could break down what it'll take to outline her niche into another game changer. So that in and of itself can be a game changer. And you can just keep breaking it down into little actionable steps. And consistency is key. I know like Haley and Meg emphasize this all the time, but it's true in every aspect of our lives. The more consistent you are, the better. So if you skip a day, that is a-okay. Be sure to make up for it the next day. We can move on to the next slide. The biggest part of this is it applies to everything that you put on your passion roadmap. So everything you put on that wish list, you can create a passion plan for. So it doesn't matter what it is, but you can break down every single thing on that list and create 50 passion plans or however many it takes to accomplish your dream life. And so it's very doable. It's all about those actionable, specific, time-sensitive goals. So repeat this process as many times as you would like. And the final takeaway, Kelsey, you could scroll to the next slide. Planning is not about perfection, and it is about the roadmap to perfecting the habit of excellence. And as someone who grew up really struggling with perfectionism and control and making sure everything was really, really ironed out, this is really big for me. So let me read it again. Planning isn't about perfection. It is about the roadmap to perfecting the habit of excellence. I think the biggest thing here is the word habit. It's just creating those little micro habits and just keep working on it. So congratulations, you all have your dream life on a piece of paper in front of you, and you can keep working on it and keep building it. We'll probably do this again in July. I always think it's really fun to do like a 6 months check-in and see where we can go from there. But I'm so proud of all of you, and you all are so incredible, and you're on a mission, as Haley just wrote, women on a mission in the chat. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you all for joining us. If you're listening in on the recording, bravo for watching the recording. And yeah, thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Kelsey, for setting this up. And I hope you all have just the best rest of your Tuesday and get after your goals tomorrow morning at the break it down.
Yes, I love it. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Juliette. And if you guys are like, I would love to have a workshop on this specific topic, DM me. I'd love to set it up for us, and hope to see you next month. All right, we'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.